Good.
Our meeting this evening, our special meeting on September 30th at 6:03 p.m. Call the meeting to order. We have open forum first. Don't think we have anybody here. Nope, seeing nobody. I guess we can go to our Halloween. All right, I can't read it. The board to discuss Halloween guidance issued by the CDC with regards to COVID-19 and make recommendations to the select board regarding Halloween safety.
Yes, so let me pull that up. If I can move it over to my screen, I got it stuck. All right. So can everybody see that?
My God, I need my reading glasses.
If I go like this.
I have your email open on the second screen. So
Oh, there it is. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Much better for us blind people.
All right, so obviously the select board is interested in what our position is on trick or treat. And I think a lot of people feel like we can do trick-or-treating. So what I was proposing is recommending that we follow the CDC holiday guidance with some modifications for Westford. So if people choose to trick-or-treat, they can do the following. Trick-or-treaters stay in family units or known bubbles. So if you've got people that have been together in daycare for long periods of time that have known each other, they could stay together. Allow families to leave a house before the next family approaches. For those handing out candy, recommend prepackaged goodie bags to grab on the front porch or front steps. Maintain 6 feet away from the entry doors of houses whenever possible. Masks should be worn when at the doors of trick-or-treaters when they can't socially distance. If you're sick with COVID-19 or you're under isolation and quarantine orders, do not participate by handing out or receiving candy or treats. And the Westford Health Department also recommends that all activities be carried out with all public safety guidance. Furthermore, I would recommend that the board does not recommend large neighborhood costume parties, trunk or treat activities, and any activity that fosters a risky behavior.
So, I mean, if we're going to say large, I would like us to really, really put some big bold letter about discouraging parties, period.
Like, right. I agree. Any party.
Just not safe right now. Costume parties or other parties, like parties, I would rather just say parties are ill-advised.
Or the board disagrees to have, will not advocate or something like.
Well, no, I mean, we can use the board strongly discourages, but it doesn't need to be large and it doesn't need to be neighborhood. It's just no parties.
Right. Parties.
Or costume parties or
Halloween parties.
Yeah, Halloween parties.
Any and all parties, Halloween parties.
We are party keepers.
The party that has nothing to do with Halloween. No parties.
Parties are bad.
What's a trunk or treat activity?
Well, no parties.
You decorate like the trunk of your car and then people go trunk to trunk. We do it at our church a lot.
And that would be different from having your candy out at the front stoop.
Well, I think it's different because you're usually closer. Your cars are closer together. So the density of people walking from vehicle to vehicle they're usually tight. The group is tight. The thing that I think is different from Westford and a lot of towns is that our homes are quite spread out and our trick-or-treaters are generally quite spread out. And that's one reason I think it's not an incredibly dangerous activity. That, you know, by the nature of trick-or-treating in this town is that it's not a lot of people in a small area at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why, and trunk or treats came up for like cities, places where it's not safe, busy streets, things like that, so that you gathered in a parking lot and just went car to car. That's
Jeff,
where it's,
I'm glad you put in about if you're sick with COVID. I mean, that's a very big line in there. So thank you.
And
Do not
maybe
participate.
we might want to just say, I don't know if we did, you know, people should do what they're comfortable with. If they want to have, you know, their child do a backyard scavenger hunt for goodies, that's great. Do what you feel is appropriate for your family and your risk comfort level.
Do you want me to add that in?
Somewhere maybe.
wouldn't they do that anyway?
So, and I think that I sent Jeff a flyer that one of the APHVC volunteers put together, which was looked at by the state Department of Public Health and is being finalized. And one thing we might want to do is try and have that sent home with the kids from school. And it's just got a recommendation of safe behaviors for Halloween on it. And post that or something. I don't know if that seems like a reasonable idea or.
I think sending something home from school is a great idea. Would your little scavenger hunt in the backyard fall under trick-or-treaters staying in family units or known bubbles?
Yes, that was like for your own child in your own backyard.
Yeah.
Do you want to reference the CDC guidance? Because there really isn't, the state doesn't say a whole lot, and they reference the CDC. So
Right, we could either put the state one or the CDC one as a link.
yeah, well, if we just put the state, then we get to the CDC because basically the states goes there. So
So that's why I kind of put in the very first sentence that the Board of Health recommends the town adopt the CDC holiday guidance for Halloween with the following modifications.
I would put the link there, right there.
you could put the link there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can put the link in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to let these kiddos trick or treat. Come on.
I agree. Personally, I think that the whole Witches Woods thing is a lot riskier than trick-or-treating in
Me
the neighborhood with your
too.
parents.
Me too. Me too.
And we have a lot of activities that are opening up that are higher risk than I think trick-or-treating is. So.
Yeah.
So with regards to Witches Woods, and Ray may want to chime in, we have spent, and particularly Ray and Arnie, I'm not exactly sure how many hours working with them, going through their operating procedures, all of their guidance. All of us walked through today to look at how the operation is going to run. And we're actually going to have a staff member down there at least once a weekend. Every weekend they're open, just to make sure that it's actually running properly. So Witches Woods is going to hopefully look to maybe expand the operation as the state opens up some of the other parts of their operation. I personally feel that we've spent so much time in the office getting the guidance exactly where it is. It's been laid out exactly to what the state is comfortable with. In fact, Ray and Arnie spent a lot of time on the phone with Mike Flanagan and running through what some of the numbers might be running through that facility. And the one thing I really would not want to see at this point is expanding that facility any more than the allowance of the operation. Not because I feel like our risk level is going to go up or down in Westford, but look at all the other communities we have that are going to be coming to Westford.
Mhm.
Some of them are extraordinarily high risk, others are very low. I think we ought to keep the number.
Well, Jeff, you know, it's
Yeah.
interesting you're saying that because I've gotten a few emails from people, you know, knowing I'm on the Board of Health, asking me, you know, what do you think about Witches Woods and, you know, people from other communities. And I've said that, there's a lot of there's special parameters in place, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of people thinking about this, like, I can't believe we're allowing this, so.
So Jeff, when you're referring to that, are you referring to the recent relaxation in performance venue guidelines and things?
Yes.
So, but we still have the right in Westford to maintain it where we'd like, do we not?
Yes, we do.
So I mean,
And
I
don't
think,
the
yeah.
CDC guidelines say no hay rides, no fall festivals, no nothing, and would fall into that category?
Well, they don't have a hayride per se. They've got something similar with
A bloody hay ride.
Not in there. Board of Health strongly discourages bloody.
6-foot dividers.
Sorry.
Yeah, they've actually done a very good job in putting up 6-foot dividers between all parties and groups. So if you have a party of 3 or 4, like a family shows up, they actually can move and slide, so they can put people right where they will be 6 feet apart from the next group. So they came up with a pretty ingenious method of doing it, and even walling off each side of the cart, so one side can't see the other side. So from a safety standpoint, I think they've done a really, really good job.
So Jeff, do we need to, as a board, also do anything to put in place a limitation that is where it currently has been set up for, or
No,
as a
I don't.
board? we need to-
We've set the current guidance in its present form. If they would like to increase what's been agreed upon, I think they would need to come in front of the board on the 19th and ask to increase it at that point. We'd have a couple of things we'd know. One, we would have eyes on the actual operation and know how it's running. And if there are problems, we'd know about it. If we're seeing overcrowding in the first couple of weeks, we know that increasing that wouldn't be a good idea. So I would not be inclined to allow them to expand it out. And if they ask to do that, I would recommend that they go in front of the board and explain why they think they can. Right now, I don't think we have any data to say it's a good idea to do that or not. So
I'm just asking, do they actually need to ask, or since the guidelines have been expanded and relaxed, can they just go ahead? Unless we pass in our own board's position on that.
if they, you know what, that's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that.
Because I know a lot of towns are passing their own restrictions, maintaining a lower limit than the state is moving to. And it seems to me on this one that unless we do something like that, they may.
So the Board of Selectmen did approve their permits with the current operating procedures they have.
Okay.
So they didn't necessarily approve the limits, but with the current operating procedures at our recommendation, if we were to go outside of that, I think that would be something both the health department and the Board of Selectmen could take up if they decided to raise it on their own. I don't think they will, because we made it pretty
Is this
clear
something that you can confirm with the selectmen and maybe the state to find out if, or ask, I don't know. I'm just concerned that, if the state's relaxing the guidelines, they may feel they are able to just change their numbers.
So
Who's that?
Sorry, that was Ray. I don't have a hand to raise. I apologize on my end, but I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to let you know that the Department of Labor and Standards and the Health Department sets actually tighter limits than were allowed at the time. This was a couple weeks ago. They were agreed upon. The selectmen approved them. The department approved them, and they're actually even with the extent, the relaxed venue guidelines that are going to affect Monday, we've made it very clear to them if anything changes or they would like to increase, change anything in their written standard operating procedures, change any of their numbers for queue lines and rides, that we would be notified right away. They know they need to get approval, and we even reiterated that today to them. So
Thank you, Ray.
yeah, sure. I just wanted you to know that they're on board with that, and they've been extremely cooperative.
Great.
So in terms of which is woods, then should we, I mean, just to kind of, I get what you're saying, Stephanie, maybe just to make it a little more solid, have a vote to accept their SOP as it stands. So then they'd have to come back, because we would have had to have it also approved it. I don't know that we did that, did we?
No.
We approved it departmentally. And I don't know that we can vote on that because it's not on the agenda.
Okay, but Ray?
No, I was just gonna say, we did, the board did not vote on those numbers, but we did approve those SOPs in writing to them with the numbers listed.
Well, it sounds like at least you'll be very aware and that they've said they would come to us for any changes. So if
Well,
they
if they're if you guys are looking at them every week, I mean, you said you're going to have a staff member there every week. Don't you think we'll be keeping an eye on what's going on?
Oh, yeah, that's why we've done all the inspections to get a handle on what the facility is. And we've already, Arnie's already worked with Ray on a kind of a cheat sheet for all the employees, so we know what numbers are going to be at what events.
Great.
What about, how are they tracking who's coming? Because with all of, everything that we do, any kind of industry, they have to have a sign in so that they know who's been there and where they're from, in case there's a case they need to do tracing on. How are they doing that?
That's a good point.
They've got online ticket sales where you got to put your own information in.
So is that something that we can get some kind of data from? Because I'm looking at the map, and Westford's going up, we're still yellow, but we're trending upwards, surrounded by red, lots more red than last time. And if, Witch's Wood is pretty known and popular, so we don't, know where everybody's coming from. And there's Tingsboro and now Lowell and North Andover and I don't know who else is in there. There's a lot that are local enough, as opposed to, like Sue was saying, there's people reaching out like you have in this. So we don't know where everybody's coming from.
If they have to go online and buy their tickets that way, isn't that the information we're looking for?
Yeah, if there was some way that we could, I mean, it doesn't have to be a mandate or something, but if we could try to keep an eye on, kind of.
Oh, trends of towns, is that what you mean, Joanne?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to.
And what if one person buys a group of tickets? And the people that are coming with them are from different areas, but the tickets are all associated with one purchaser.
Well, I mean, yeah, again, it's not an exact science, obviously, unless they have to do, individual tickets, but that would come into play, obviously, with tracing. I mean, you'd have to go back to that original person and find out where everybody is or was, but I don't know, I'm just watching numbers go up. Watching numbers go up.
I know.
So they open on Friday. They're going to be open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they will be open the last 2 weeks of the month. They'll be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They wanted to have a softer opening, so they weren't going to open this first Thursday. They are, as Jeff said, they're keeping track of all the ticket sales. Any sales that are purchased on the property, they do have to give their name and information and keep that as part of the guidance, CDC guidance. They also have limited how many tickets they can sell every 15 minutes so that they can keep track. They have on-site counters for every single line, extra staff to make sure everybody's social distancing, that there's no gatherings, loitering, collection of people. So we went out today to make sure that they've got all their signage, they've got plenty of social distance separation for the queue lines and for people waiting. They also have these pretty neat backpack sanitizers with disinfectant. They're sanitizing every hayride when people get off. So, you know, and I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Joanne. Absolutely, I agree, especially with the numbers. The only thing I would say is that, you know, the average is 4 to 6 people in a group that buy tickets together. They don't typically have any singles. But I would say it's like any other venue, whether it's Kimball Farm or a restaurant, you know, 4 or 5 people can come from, you know, Acton or, you know, Shrewsbury to Karma for dinner, you know, so I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you guys have worked with them and that there's a pretty good plan in place. And I guess maybe as a board, it sounds like we would just like to say that if they make any changes or are interested in expanding, that we be notified and perhaps have them come to us in a meeting before that be allowed.
Yeah, we've dictated that to them already.
Okay.
So I guess the most important thing for tonight is, do you want to make any other changes other than adding the CDC holiday guidance link to this? Is the board comfortable with those recommendations for trick or treating?
Can I just make one word recommendation on the 5th bullet point? Masks should be worn when at doors, and then add the word when again after the word and. So it would read, masks should be worn when at doors and when trick-or-treaters cannot socially distance. Just to make it clear, because otherwise you could read that sentence wrong.
Done.
And I know we said something about goodie bags. I don't know, the thing, and it goes back to the trunk or treating thing where you have a bowl and everybody sticks their hands in the bowl. I don't have an answer. I'm just throwing that out there as it's a concern. Like, is there something we can't mandate goodie bags, but I don't know how else we.
How about for those handing out candy, please put the bag or something about put the candy yourself in the person's, I mean, something that they're not reaching. Is there some wording we can put that it's saying that
Sure.
the person handing out the candy is the one putting it in the bags instead of people reaching in? I don't know.
That's a good idea.
I ordered goodie bags last week, just thinking this would be a good idea, and was thinking about using barbecue tongs and like putting them in the kids' buckets.
There's
So
a
that
lot
we'd have that extra distance between me and the kids.
Put something in about wearing gloves, maybe. You know, that the person handing it out should be wearing gloves. But, you know, I just, you know, I always hand the bowl and they just grab, you know.
Right. Not this year.
Maybe put and do not allow, you know, something about instead of saying you got to wear gloves, you say something like, and do not allow trick-or-treaters to be reaching in something. I don't know what the wording would be, but
how about the board recommends that candy and treats be handed out as opposed to trick-or-treaters get them themselves? I don't know how
do we word that?
We recommend individually pre-packed goodie bags to hand out on the porch or front steps. Alternative.
And the homeowner is the one, or something about, you know, the homeowner is the one
to put it in the goodie bag or to put it in the trick-or-treater's bag.
Yeah.
If it's a pre-packaged thing, they can grab one. But if they're single.
Yeah, but even if it's pre-packaged, you're still having hands going into a bowl. Right?
Well, it depends on how you do it.
A bowl.
Up and everybody just takes one, you know, but.
You have to say, if using the bowl, the board recommends if using a bowl to hand out candy, the homeowner be the person to put the candy in the trick-or-treater's bag.
So I started with this. The board recommends only one person serve treats to
trick-or-treaters. Well, I don't know. I mean, it could be that I don't know that it could be anybody in the home. I don't know that it has to be only one person. You don't usually have three.
The homeowners, instead of
yeah,
only
we
one.
Also got to remember people are going to do what they want. And if we're just recommending only one person do it, at least we're making the recommendation. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
there's not going to be, the Westford police are not going to be checking to see who's doing it.
Okay.
True.
But the point is that they should be the one to put the candy in the trick-or-treater's bag. So if not using prepackaged, if not using goodie bags, or either way, let's
You
I
don't
really-
not trick-or-treaters reach into the bowl for their candy.
I really love Michelle's idea about the tongs. I know that, like, I know not everyone's going to have them or use them, but like, it might be a great recommendation just to get
Suggestion.
people thinking
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Right, I
It's
think
just
there's
like,
some other suggestions,
use tongs or gloves.
or
Yeah.
the, people said like a PVC pipe and you put it down and you slide it down your steps and they get the candy at the bottom.
I
Yeah.
saw
You
that.
just
How
throw
about-
it at them. Just
yeah,
throw.
or throw it at them. Yeah.
Little air cannon, maybe, just blast it out toward the street.
Now we're having fun.
The apple blossom parade.
Go on.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, I think in the long run, what we're trying to say is don't have a bowl and multiple little grubby hands in it.
Oh, you're giving me a stomach cramp.
So no bobbing for apples.
Stop candy, Sue.
All right, how about the board recommends the use of tongs or gloves for treat service?
Nice.
Sounds good.
Good
For
idea.
handing out,
Ow.
I would say
Concise.
for out treats.
I think I have a hernia. Oh my God.
I don't know what I would think treat service meant. I would say for handing out treats.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you.
For delivering treats.
This is so hard. It's too long.
We
should
are
try to, we should try to
televised.
write an essay sometime by committee. That'd be fun.
Handing out treats. Oh, handing treats. Handing out treats, Jeff.
Handing out treats.
Handing out treats. Do not use a communal bowl.
Yeah, there, just add that on, yeah.
Actually, yes. Joanne, that was perfect.
Wait, meeting over.
No, stop. Okay.
It's just added at the end.
No, Jeff, you should have kept the same line. Just add that at the end. Go back. Wait, go back. You can do a read.
Control Z. Control Z.
Control Z.
Undo. Not delete, delete, delete. Undo.
Undo, undo, undo.
He does things the hard way.
I
Use the gloves or tongs.
Gloves or tongs for it.
No,
for
the, just for handing out treats.
For handing
Okay.
out treats.
For delivering the delicious candy.
And then no communal bowl. Right there.
Oh, communal bowl. No,
There you go.
Exclamation point.
no. Our favorite word. No. No hernia for you. No candy for you.
nobody can watch this.
Is this being taped?
Yeah.
We have a great board. We are fun.
All right,
Okay.
so
All right.
Except we know we have to get Stephanie the Cadbury eggs at Easter. That's the only thing that's allowed,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
For good.
I think this looks good.
are you good with that?
Yeah.
How many exclamations? Is that enough exclamations, Sue?
There are 4 of them. Yeah.
So Jeff, we're sending this to the Board of Selectmen, and where and when will this be published for public?
I am going to send this to, for starters, Jody Ross, and let her know that we've got it.
Okay.
And I'm just going to add the link in, copy.
God, you're so good, Jeff. Look at you go.
I think it definitely should be shared through the schools. It should go home with all the school children.
You know what
Yeah.
though, Jeff? unless you're gonna get this if you're gonna get this on paper, that's useless. You should put the URL in.
That is the URL.
No, but again, if what she's saying is if you don't click on, she's saying put the whole link.
If it's not electronic, you can't click on a piece of paper. You need the URL so that you can look it up.
Put the
I'll
link.
put it at the bottom. Otherwise, it'll cloud up the.
Oh yeah, you can put it at the bottom.
And maybe get it announced on Westford Cat.
Jeff, all you'd have to do is if you send it to like Bill Olson and it can go out to if you send it to Bill Olson, it will be sent out to all the families.
I'll try and hopefully we'll have the visual guidance that the state's approved also that we put together that can go with it, because I think
Perfect.
it's got some good visual quick.
Yep.
Okay.
That looks good.
So we need to make a motion to accept this then, or no?
I would say you make a motion to make these recommendations to the selectmen.
Okay.
Can
I'll
I
make
ask
the
what?
motion. Oh, wait, do you have a question? Okay.
All right, sorry. On the last one there, if you are sick with COVID-19, do not participate by handing out candy or receiving candy or treats. Should we be more specific, like trick or treat? Like they're not supposed to be outside. They can't just walk along with brother and sister and not receive treats. They should be home, not trick or treating.
Do not participate in any way.
Anyway,
Do not participate in trick. No.
in any way, I like that.
No. Not participate. No, it's capital N, capital O, 5 exclamations.
I think that one needs 5 exclamation points, definitely.
And Joanne's phone number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that needs to go on the web page.
So
As
do
a
not
mission
participate
statement.
by handing
No.
or treating.
No, not for you. Come back 1 year.
Well, I mean, that's not fair though, because if we say it that way, I would just leave it instead of or receiving candy or treats, putting or trick or treating, because if they're on their own property in their backyard, picking up candy their parents hid for them or something, that would be acceptable.
Right, so they just can't go out trick or treating.
Right.
And we do say you have to follow your quarantine or isolation orders, so that
Right.
should be explicit enough.
Yeah, but yeah, they don't know what they are. I would say do not participate by handing out or receiving candy or treats. What was it before? I think we have to be specific, like you can't
There
go
you go. Stay
Please
home.
stay home. Yeah.
home.
Nice.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
that fixes it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have a motion to accept this as our recommendation for the Board of Selectmen? Please raise your hand.
So,
Make that
We really-
motion.
You really want 4 exclamation
I'll
marks
second,
though?
All right,
Oh, yeah.
take off just only
I'll
put
second that.
no exclamation points, Jeff.
You go to the selectmen, they'll be like,
You don't want
Just
4
one.
exclamation points?
this
Well,
one.
I do, but people might not like that. I
Yeah.
love my exclamation points.
All right, just one.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All right, so we have a motion to accept it, and do we have a second?
I'll second.
No, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, can we go have dinner now?
I think so. Is that it, Jeff?
Time.
I'm just gonna put by a vote of 5-0. There.
That looks good. That's good, Jeff.
All right.
All right.
And I'll just put, what do you want at the bottom? For a closing.
Happy Halloween.
Perfect.
No.
I don't think you need to put anything else.
Happy Halloween.
Be safe. How about just be safe? Be safe.
Wear your mask.
Exclamation point.
Wear your mask, socially distance.
Tongs.
How about if you put a picture there?
I've got really long barbecue tongs, so I think I'm good.
Wear your mask, socially distance, wash your hands, and use tongs.
And don't have any fun.
Don't have any fun.
Okay.
All right, so I think we're good. I'll just make sure everything matches up. And whatever.
Put the Algerian back. Great.
Yeah, it's in Garmin. I don't know why, but it is. There we go.
There we go. I like it.
All right.
Are we ready then to have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Me.
Second.
Motion. Michelle seconds. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Hi.
Good night, everyone.